YodenMod 2021 has just been out for over a month now, and just a couple of days ago it got another update. This including a lot of changes to Skirmish, lots of new additional units and ships for each faction, about 4 new Skirmish maps, and the ability to add a whole new goal and space structure that will allow you to build new ships within Skirmish. We're going to be diving into all these changes in today's video. So if you want more updates on Empire at War videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you never miss out on these updates. So without any further ado, let's go through the changes. First up, a whole new Galactic Conquest map. And unlike most of the maps in YodenMod, which are faction versus faction specific, this one involves all 15 factions in YodenMod, which means you play as one faction and go head to head with all the others to see who is the champion. This one is quite difficult and it's quite a long campaign, but it is all premeditated battles, somewhat like a horde mode style of gameplay. The Galactic Conquest is called Faction 15, Yoden maps equals all 15 faction. Next up is Skirmish mode, and possibly one of the biggest changes to Skirmish is the ability to build a goal and space structure once you reach tech level 5. And much like Awaken the Rebellion Skirmish, you build this Golan and place it anywhere on the map, which will allow you to build completely new units based on what original faction you're playing. This does make Skirmish mode in Yoden a little bit more wild, and we'll get into that a little bit later on in the video. Next up is new models and units, and the ships are as followed. For Empire Skirmish mode, you can build the Empire Death Star 2 from the goal and space structure. On all types of game modes, the Empire can now build the Imperial Light Cruiser, as well as the Imperial Gazanti Cruiser. Next up is the Mandalorian faction, and they only have one ship this time, and that's the Arrow Corvette. Next up is the Hutt, which only have one new style of fighters as well, that being the Starhopper Squadron. The Sis also has only one new ship, that is the Trimeri Corvette. After that, the Pirate faction has 3 new ships, which is the Kirax Mark 1 and Mark 2 squadrons, as well as the Infinity Corvette. Moving over to the Rebels, they have 3 new ships as well, one being the Rebel Gunboat, the MC-50 Frigate, and the Mirax Terek Mediator. The Underworld has 2 new ships, which is the Besh Bomber and the Axkava Min Keldabay Battleship. For ground units only, the Galactic Alliance has the Hero Aslin Ray for land and space, and for land only, you have the Aslin Ray GPE 7300 land fighter. One other minor change has been to the Earth Coalition, and that is the Vengeance ship that is used for the majority of that faction has been changed to a completely new model. This is probably because comments in our previous Yoden mod mentioned that the Ragnarov SSD, which is used frequently in the Earth Coalition faction, was a straight asset rip from Sins of the Solar Empire. So this fixes that issue there. Modifications to the Skirmish space maps Yoden map 9 all the way till 12 have been changed and tweaked accordingly, and there has been a bit of an energy refresh rate on all fighters since they're a little bit too hard to kill. Now all of these changes have been broken down. Let's look at what you can exactly do with these changes in YodenMod 2021, which you couldn't do in the previous 2021 update. The first biggest change out of all of them is easily playing the Empire faction. By picking the Empire faction and then picking First Order as your sub-faction in any Skirmish mode allows you to build the First Order's Starkiller base and the Empire's Death Star 2 all within one map. This change definitely makes YodenMod a little bit more wild than it was in its previous update, and of course, if you were able to build any of these ships, it's pretty much an instant win. Either of these super lasers will destroy the enemy space station instantly. However, the drawback to building the First Order's Starkiller base requires you to tech up all the way to tech level 5, then having to build the Golden Space Station, and then having to build the Starkiller base from that. And the Starkiller base definitely has a long build time as well. This requires the player to play very defensively for a very long time, up until they can get that instant win. However, one thing that has made the Empire faction way stronger than it needs to be in this update is that the Empire can now build a Death Star 2 from a Hutt asteroid station at tech level 1, meaning they can avoid 4 tech level upgrades and the Golan space station build which completely eliminates the drawbacks to trying to build a super weapon like that. So unfortunately, the Empire is extremely strong and abusable in this update. This is also the same with the First Order faction, because they can build the Starkiller base at tech level 1 from a Hutt asteroid station as well. However, the First Order can't build a sub-faction station much like the Empire Rebels and Consortium can. However, unlike previous versions of YodenMod, Yoden himself has said that he wants to do frequent smaller updates to YodenMod 2021 over the coming year, so hopefully we'll see a big nerf to Empire in Skirmish mode very soon. Fighters in both Galactic Conquest and in Skirmish have definitely seen a big nerf. They are much more killable now than they were before, and usually can be taken out pretty quickly. This now makes fighter spam pretty useless in this mod, which is quite prevalent in a lot of other Empire war mods, requiring players to now have to play on a ship versus ship basis. Could be interesting for some, could mean dumbing down the mechanics for others, but that really comes down to how people like to play Empire War. And finally, the Golden Space Station, which is achievable at tech level 5 for any faction, makes YodenMod Skirmish mode a little bit more wacky, which makes sense because it is YodenMod after all, and definitely adds a lot of end game reward fun when people are playing head to head for quite a while. Although I do really like this change, I am a little bit concerned. I haven't played it a lot right now, but I really did like where the balancing was in YodenMod 2021 when you're only playing the 3 main factions. But we'll just have to wait and see and what people think of the changes. Besides that, that is where I'm going to wrap up today's video. What are your favourite changes to this update to YodenMod 2021? And more importantly, are you excited that YodenMod 2021 is going to get more frequent updates compared to the previous versions? Let me know what you think Yoden should add in future updates, as well as what is your favourite changes to this mod today. Besides that guys, I've been Charlie, you've been watching EcksToo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care guys.